On May 23, 1916, some 400 dairy farmers gathered from all parts of southern Michigan at Agriculture Hall at Michigan Agricultural College. With a primary goal of securing a better price for producers' milk, a statewide organization open only to dairy farmers was born. It would be called the Michigan Milk Producers Association. A 7-member board would oversee the new association that already had nearly 200 dues-paying members. N.P. Hall of Dimondale was elected the statewide association's first president. It was a gutsy move, producers joining together to negotiate price and terms of sale with distributors had been branded a criminal act in some places. Farmers in other states had gone to jail, accused of violating antitrust laws. Later that year, the auditorium in the MAC Agricultural Building was filled to overflow as almost 1,000 milk producers from nearly every county in southern Michigan attended. They represented more than 80 local associations that had formed in the few weeks since MMPA was founded. By 1920, MMPA had more than doubled the price for members, and John Neer was hired as general manager to oversee the increased milk flow and the new headquarters in Howell. The Milk Messenger, first published in 1919, keeps the membership informed continuously to this year. In 1939, MMPA bought the Emley City plant and receiving station, and by 1951 it was the largest facility owned by MMPA. They could, at the time, receive up to 600,000 pounds of milk a day. The plant was used as a receiving station until its closing in 1972. World War II introduced price ceilings and subsidies and women raising crops and milking cows. In 1940, Howard Simmons was named general manager. During his 18 years as manager, he was instrumental in merging most major local milk markets in Michigan into a single effective statewide organization. In 1948, milk quality was addressed with the Pasteurized Milk Law. Michigan was the first state to adopt the law requiring all milk, cheese, and butter to be pasteurized before being sold to customers. The Agricultural Act of 1949 authorized parity as the basis for the dairy price support, and in 1951, federal milk marketing orders started in Michigan. As a boy, Velmer Green went to the MMPA meetings with Father Merle and had a first-hand view in 1955 of a rogue group calling themselves the Fair Share Bargaining Association. Threatening to divide MMPA, organizers attempted to recruit MMPA members by claiming to have a strong alliance with labor unions and a deal with the Teamsters Union that would ensure higher milk prices. When that strategy failed to work, the group turned to violence.
We have pictures of it in the paper where they threw the rocks into at the trucks and broke the windshields here at LC because they didn't want them to deliver the milk to the plant. They wanted to dump it. Our milk always seemed to get through to Ovid, but I remember my dad going down, and he was on both sides of the street trying to mediate a little bit, and but we've had families that got divided over that. One brother belonged fair share, the other didn't, and actually it lasted forever in that family.
In 1955, Glenn Lake became the president of MMPA and guided the organization through the troubled times of the Fair Share movement.
He was very charismatic. Glenn was a guy that could talk to anybody on multiple occasions, literally talk to the President of the United States, and then probably at the same day or at least the very next day or the next week, back talking to his local dairy farmers out in North Branch, Michigan. I mean, he had that ability to communicate with everybody on multiple levels, and he was absolutely dedicated and driven for the betterment of dairy farmers, not necessarily just MMPA, but all dairy farmers.
Glenn Lake probably did as much for Michigan milk, I think, in my time as anybody that I know of. He always seemed personable. He always talked to now at the district meeting, if Glenn was there, he made a point of talking to everybody that was there, even if he just said hi and how are you doing, but he took the time to talk to everybody.
Lake teamed with general manager Jack Barnes to head a very talented management team.
Jack was a very, very good general manager. We took on a lot of acquisitions of different plants around the country, consolidated the industry here in the state. We formed a bargaining committee. Michigan Milk had a bargaining committee. We bargained with the processors and the milk bottlers in Detroit and in the state. I remember going to several meetings in, say, like 1963 or 64. And then we bargained all night with the spokesman for the dealers, and we ended up with a 5-cent raise for the year. after bargaining and negotiating all night long, it was, I don't know how he was on about 35 or 40 on the bargaining committee. And so that was, we had a market, that was a market committee before it became an advisory committee for Michigan Milk.
MMPA began to define the organization in 1956, forming 12 geographic districts, with 1 board member each and 3 at-large members, making the board 15 strong, and moving into new offices in downtown Detroit. In 1957, the first super pool was established in the United States, with MMPA representatives negotiating the prices in Michigan. MMPA expands into the bottling business, buying the Dairyland Cooperative Creamery Company, and the cottage cheese business, buying the plant in Ovid. The 1965 adoption of the Grade A milk inspection law opens the doors for increased market possibilities through interstate milk shipments from Michigan. The passage of the Grade A milk law also changed the scope of responsibilities for the MMPA fieldmen. Through an agreement with the Michigan Department of Agriculture, they become certified inspectors. On its 50th anniversary in 1966, MMPA has half as many members, marketing 50% more milk than a decade earlier. Production climbs as member farm acres and cow numbers increase, and more attention was given to genetics, nutrition, and animal health practices. In 1969, the 600 members of the Constantine Cooperative Creamery join MMPA. After operating under a marketing agreement for many years, MMPA acquires the Constantine plant in 1981. As the 60s ended with the Summer of Love and the Vietnam War changing America, MMPA was consolidating the remaining regional milk organizations. The 70s brought stagflation, aggravated by an energy crisis that led to a national recession. By 1974, costs of feed, equipment, and supplies soared, while a flood of imports and low support prices caused milk prices to plummet and farmers to organize protests around the country. The Michigan dairy industry, including many MMPA members, reel from the discovery of PBB in purchased feeds. In 1979, MMPA takes over McDonald Dairy.
McDonald Dairy, they went bankrupt, and we were asked by the bank co-ops to take them over. In 1979, we thought that probably we should take them over because we didn't want all that extra milk be floating around the state, and thought to keep the price up, we need to have control of the milk.
In segment 2, MMPA's new leadership expands facilities and finds new partnerships, leading to new markets for the organization's milk.